Okay, let's do this hopefully really fast. Okay, my V thing on, V head on, and everything. A lot of crap to do. Okay, sorry. That's not what I wanted, not what I wanted. Oh, yeah. Okay, so, I was really angry and everything about, Peta, how it ended and everything. And then I realized that I forgot, and I'm kind of happier with the ending now that I realized that, Peta went insane. So, they're crazy together now, and that's fine. But, and they have 2 kids together. I was just overthinking it and everything, but what I had in mind for like a modern one was that she didn't have to marry Peta. Okay, let me just read what I wrote. Gale is the guy from Hunger Games can talk about. Complains how he didn't have to marry Peta. I called him Peter a lot. So modern Hunger Games, they would just be princess benefits instead, and so modern Hunger Games also sister remembers. Also remember his name because she thinks it's similar to blah blah. I couldn't remember Gale's name, so in the books I just called him like G and everything like that. Sorry about that interruption and everything. My mother walked in. We can't say anything gay or anything. You know, we can't say anything around her. Also, like, I'm annoyed right now, and I'm like, she's a motherfucker. And I'm like, the more you think about it, the more the correct that is. She's my mother, so she's a motherfucker. I hate her. Anyway, I hate my family, of course, obviously. I don't give a shit about that right now. Okay, that's not what we wanted today. Okay, anyway, but my sister remembers Gail's name because, she's like, oh, it's gay. It's close to the word gay, so she's like, gay Gale. Even though he's not gay, they had sex in the woods. I will explain that in a minute. Anyway, I'm still talking about modern Hunger Games. My version of everything. I just said sex friend, not friend with benefits before, and then that's what I'd written down. And then also, I couldn't call him and couldn't remember it as the gay Gale. I think I could for a little bit, but then I couldn't anymore, because then I was like, hey, great, it's gay, and that's a lot closer. So it didn't work anymore, and I forgot his name. And anyway, but, yeah, she couldn't be with Gale because of the whole, you dropped a bomb and you killed my sister, and all that crap. So, can't be together, but they could have still been sex friends, they could have still been friends with benefits, they still had kids together and all that crap. It would have been a little bit more complicated because of the distance, probably, between them. And she didn't want to get involved into, like, the government, and she didn't forgive him, so obviously they couldn't get married. But they could still, like, meet up and fuck. Especially since, like, she lost her virginity to the woods and everything, and she was his girlfriend. It just was unofficial, but, like, it was basically official anyway. It was just, like, everyone knew they were together. They just didn't say the titles in the books. They didn't need to label it because everyone already knew that they were together and that he was taken. And then they didn't really have to label it at the end either because they're like, we don't know who's coming back and who's going to die or not and who's going to be chosen. And all we need is for one of us to stay behind and protect my sister. That was the whole Katniss deal. Yeah, that was that whole mess, and we're annoyed by that, but yeah. And then you're like, oh, but like, I was overthinking it, and I was like, oh, well, if she slept with him, she would still have that memory of like, oh, but when I look at you, I still remember my sister's death. You have the same problem with Peta. When you look at him, all you remember is, yeah, we were forced to have sex, and people were watching and recording it, so they would send money and supplies to save your life and keep us from dying. And we only had sex that one time, and we never did again, and you were in love with me, and I hated you the entire time, and you knew I never loved you, and I still don't love you, but then I guess it makes sense that we'd call it marriage, but, like, also, is it even an official marriage, because they live in the middle of nowhere, so there's no one to officiate the wedding, and literally, no one's there, no one's around, they live by themselves, they have their own house and everything, no one else is in District 12. And so there's no one who would officiate the wedding or anything like that, but I guess you would call it married because that would be the easiest explanation for your kids, especially since you have that fake wedding and that fake pregnancy bullshit. So, yeah, that's a complicated mess. So you could just avoid all of that and be like, yeah, we're married. You don't have to deal with any of that crap to explain to your kids. And probably just calling it married, and they're not really married, and, like, you're mostly kind of just a babysitter. He can most of the time take care of himself, but he still has that urge to kill you, but he still remembers and feels that he loves you, but sometimes he remembers that he hates you, but he's not killing you right now, so he's a little bit better, so he won't kill all you and act on his urge most of the time, but he still might, but yeah, but then they're just fucked up together, but, like, she totally could have just been sex friends. She was modern. I was like, because this seems way older, because they were like, oh, you have to be together now, and I'm like, no. You never have to get married. You never have to have kids. You never have to do with this person. And it really didn't make sense. I was like, why didn't you settle down? And, like, why didn't you sleep with him? And why did you have kids with him? It just didn't make sense to me, and still doesn't. But I'm like, whatever. You don't want to be involved in the government and everything like that. And you were, like, out of their holding cell in your prison and everything. And apparently it was only for, like, around 3 hours. And with how long she talked about it and everything without us for 3 days. Because her long entry was longer than a lot of the chapters in the books that talked about things that happened for years, weeks, and months. They described it in so little words, so few changes, dedicated to different events that have happened over long periods of time. Yeah, so it's all ridiculous. It's more of like, I feel like the length in the storyline, how that equals out to, what that really equals out is to how important it was to her, really. That's from her perspective and everything. And then, like, I also don't get why she didn't kill him. Like, none of that made any sense in the first place. Yeah, she did. I was like, she was totally right, and it totally made sense when she almost dropped a beehive on his head. I was totally valid and was hoping for him to die. And then she kind of felt bad for it, and so she saved him. And she's also like, you kind of gave me bread when I was starving. But then even when we hear from his probe, and she even meant, she's like, well, it was trash bread. It was a burnt piece of bread. And, like, I get that you burned it on purpose and everything to help me, but it was kind of bullshit, and you gave me burnt bread. And we even learned from his perspective that it was total bullshit, because he burnt bread and everything. Yeah, he did it on purpose, and oh my god, you got a whack on your hand for it. Well, she got whipped for hunting in the woods to feed her family. And then also, her boyfriend also got whipped, took one of the beatings for her, too. So yeah, you're worthless piece of shit. Peta is completely useless. Like, and he can bake bread. Oh my god, you burn it, and you fed the good pieces of the bread, the parts of the bread that wasn't burnt. You fed almost all of the bread, and you had more than just a few pieces, and you only fed her one piece. And all those good pieces, and the other burnt pieces, all the other pieces, they were fed to the pigs. Because their father apparently was also the butcher. He's the baker and the butcher, apparently. Well, I mean, it does make more sense because the town was really small. And he was, like, the second richest person, because you have the mayor, and then you have the butcher, who apparently is also the baker. They do both. But yeah. Or maybe they just sold the pigs to the butcher, but they said that it was the same. They fed the burnt bread to the pigs that they would later butcher. That made the most sense. That was my understanding. Anyway, but I was so annoyed with the whole deal, and I was like, why the fuck are we saving him? And, like, his existence is always slowing us down, so his very existence is a threat, and we're already almost dying 24/7, and then we have him, who's just a liability, and he's almost always dying when we're trying to save him, which puts us in danger, and then he's just slowing us down in general, because he can't do shit. And then, oh my god, the one thing he could do was camouflage, which did make us a little bit harder to find him, but I mean, he was kind of already dying and on the ground, so you're obviously going to be covered in mud, so are you really camouflaging, or are you just stuck in mud because you're dying and you're weak, and yeah. And then she, like, learned that skill, and I was like, his only purpose and only use is that he can bake bread, but there's no bakery, and he's like, he needs stove, he apparently can't make it really from scratch, maybe he can. But, like, he needs all these ingredients. They don't have any of the ingredients to make. They don't have a stove. They don't have a house. There's so many. You need fire. You need all this crap to make it. And, like, we only know he knows how to make bread. We didn't say anything about being good at butchering or any of that crap. But, I mean, Katniss can already do that. Because, I mean, like, how else was she preparing the deer and meat that she took home? That she was stealing and trespassing. Just blocked off all the woods and threatened to kill anyone that they found. Just this thing, and then they kept reinforcing the fence so it's harder to get in and out of, so she kept tearing up her body, going in and out of the fence, and all of that crap. And there was already a fence in the first place, so it was already hard to get into, but then they kept improving it and making the hole smaller, and she had to find new ways to get it in, because they were starving, and everything like that. But yeah, she didn't just sleep, like, once. Oh, and it was very detailed. It wasn't like, oh, kiss to save your life and everything. And Peta knew almost the entire time, like, that she didn't love him. Yeah, like, maybe he thought it at first, but then they had the whole, like, we're fake. After the Hunger Games was obviously over, he was like, oh yeah, you don't love me. I love you, but you don't love me. And she's like, yeah, duh, I don't love you. We're a fake couple. Like, I don't give a shit about you. And I kind of wanted you to leave you die. Well, more I did. I wanted him to die 24/7 the entire time. I was like, this motherfucker needs to die. And then I liked, I believe, I keep thinking her name is Robin. Robbie, Raven, the cute little girl who was in the birds, and I was pretty sure her name was like a bird. She was cute, little girl. She was, she taught Katniss how to survive and climb the trees better, get better at climbing trees. She could climb trees, but she wasn't that good. And then she also didn't know how to swing from them, because that girl was a fucking monkey. And that's how she was surviving and everything. She was hiding from everyone in the trees and everything, and then she was killed. And then, like, her half-brother, or maybe it was her full brother, but I'm pretty sure it was, like, from just sick too or whatever, or maybe he bonded with her and liked her, and they were, like, best friends or something. Anyway, he helped Katniss because he learned that she, like, did a burial ceremony and everything. She did, like, a tribute to her, so he helped her when she was, yeah, and he kind of also obviously wanted revenge and everything, and, like, they're still fighting with everyone anyway, but he didn't attack her when he had a chance to and kill her. And he was like, oh yeah, you took care of my sister, okay, we're good. I won't attack you. And kill other players, and like, they might be attacking you, they might not. I'm gonna help you. And she was running to get the medical bag to save Peta. And Peta was being his hopeless, dying self. They did that whole berry trick and everything, and I'm like, this is stupid. Just let Peta swallow the berries, and it'll be done. Like, he is never helpful, and he never, ever, ever had to. In fact, he ruined when they went to the second Hunger Games, because they only did the whole, like, fake pregnancy and fake marriage to hopefully get her out and be like, hey, don't select me for the Hunger Games, I want to fucking live. And they were like, no, bitch, no. And we kind of saw that coming anyway, because they were so fucking pissed out that she survived in the first place, so they were not happy, so, like, you were gonna die no matter the fucking what. And that was their whole plan anyway. So they threw her in there, because they wanted her to die again. And so they check her in there, because before it was kind of random selection. But also, like, didn't have to be the mayor and everything. Like, she didn't have any friends. And people knew that, like, she was trespassing and she was punished, so they kind of wanted to get rid of her anyway, so, like, was it really random? Or was it kind of just bound to happen even if she wasn't chosen? Was she just going to be killed anyway? Well, she was anyway because she kept trespassing and everything to get deer to keep her sister alive. But they would probably, even if she didn't, they would have found another excuse and killed her off anyway. So it didn't really matter that she was going to be dead. It's a little bit suspicious that she was chosen. Well, she wasn't chosen, her sister was, but they were going to make it so she was chosen anyway. And they're like, obviously she's going to sacrifice herself for her sister because she's going out into the woods to die every day to get fucking deer for her sister. So obviously it's going to happen. And then obviously Gale. Peta, like, was just chosen random. He didn't have no friends, and no one was, like, willing to sacrifice your life, because they're like, yeah, we don't really care. Like, I get it, you're the second most important person, but, like, we don't really care, and your father is still alive and healthy and has many years to live left, so we should be fine. And, like, you're not the mayor's child, so you're fine. So you can be sacrificed and you can die, no one really gives a shit about you. And then, yes, there was that whole mess, but yeah, so they're all picked. But then the second time, because before he was picked, Candace wasn't actually chosen, except obviously the second time, and that was right, everyone knew what was going to happen. But, yeah, so no, that was just going to happen no matter what. But, for Peta, you stupid ass bitch, they had all planned out and everything. The old man who had survived the first time and was good with fucking axes and shit, they were fucking good. I'm pretty sure he can make, like, a hatchet, so he can make an axe and everything. So they were fine. He was more talented, he was stronger, he was everything, he was their chance of fucking surviving, and he's like, no, I volunteer, because I'm a stupid motherfucker who wants to be with my obsessive fake girlfriend 24/7, even though it means that we're gonna die and I'm most likely killing her. Fucking moron. So anyway, and then he keeps causing trouble and drags her down and keeps getting them almost killed like he did the fucking first time. I said at least this time he wasn't, like, dead. So we didn't have to worry about medical supplies, but he kept almost dying and getting injured all the fucking time. So, annoying stupid piece of shit. He wasn't even supposed to be in there, and they had perfectly arranged, and they had better chances of survival if he didn't go into the second fucking Hunger Games. But he's like, yeah, I volunteer. You stupid motherfucker. You even knew about their plans, and you fucking ruined everything, and you know it. You stupid piece of shit. So it seems like he tried to kill him on purpose. We're like, no, he didn't. But his stupid ass motherfucker totally did, because he totally fucking rigged it, and he's completely useless. And he had no talents and nothing at all. I'm sorry, Katniss can kill. And she got better, and she can hide, and she can use camouflage, and she could build, like, fires and shit, and she can survive. And she could probably even, like, make a little bit of a weapon out of wood and shit. Even when she doesn't have a weapon, she's fine. She can survive. But then we have this stupid ass bitch who is slow as F, because this bitch has never exercised basically in his entire life. Because he might as well be a fat fuck, because all he does is bake bread and eat bread. He's plenty full. Like, he might exercise a little bit. Oh. He should have been like a fat fuck. Or at least fatter than he was. Because in the movies and everything, that image, he was skinny. And I'm like, no. You were the only one of the, almost the only, very few of these motherfuckers that was well fed. Because only the rich were fed. So the mayor and the butcher, / baker, his father, so his family and the mayor's family were fed. And they were rich. And very few others were wealthy. And they could afford to buy the bread. So they could have something to eat. So he should have been a lot fatter. And we know he never exercised a day in his life. Well, maybe, like, bare minimum, but, like, this man never did anything. So he's low as F. Lowest ever. So he's just asking them to be like, I am a big target. It's me now. I am a moron. Look at me. And then, like, it makes even more of an obvious point, like, he couldn't do anything, and, like, oh my god, even if he did a point later on in the war and everything, when he's kidnapped, even if he did put in like, an effort, he made effort to fight back, it would have failed. But he doesn't have any talent or a way to even put up an effort in the first place, and he probably didn't. I didn't see any effort. So he's completely useless, and he is like, yes, shoot me now. So yeah, obviously he got kidnapped, but why the fuck did we save him? Like, it was obviously a trap, and everything was set up, and, like, they convinced him and made him to kill her, and then we forgive him after he tries to fucking kill us more than fucking once, and we get him help so he doesn't try and kill us as often. But he's still trying to kill us, and he still hates us, even though he knows apparently he loves us for no apparent reason. And she never falls in love with him ever the entire time. Even at the end, when we get married, never loved him, and never will love him. He just loves her, but also hates her now because of brainwashing and drug and that stupid shit. But the stupidest motherfucking piece of shit ever. So I hate Peta. Gal was fine, but then he got her sister killed, and that was his, like, only fucking job. Because that was the entire point in the first place for her volunteering. She's like, I don't want my sister to die, go take care of her. And then he lets her die, you're like, nope, you were completely useless. Yeah, so, yeah. And then even, like, afterwards, she was like, yeah, I look at you, I just can't forgive you, and I can't move on from this. But I was like, if she gave it a little bit of time, she still could have fucked with him. Especially since, like, I'm sorry, you have more trauma now with Peta. So when you first were together with it, you did it to save him, to save yourself, and just to survive. And then, whenever you look at him, you're like, oh yeah, the traumatic events of, like, all the Hunger Games and all that shit of us being together. And then also of me forcing myself to be with you because I had no other choice and had to survive and save you. And then also, I remember all the times you fucking tried to kill me. That's what I see when I look at you. Yeah. I said they're together and they're married and they have 2 fucking kids. Well, it's a good thing at the end, they're not happy. Well, obviously they're not happy. She never loved him in the first place, and she still doesn't love him. She's just like, yeah, we've had 2 kids and we're together. Guess we're married now. I don't know why. Deal with this crazy ass motherfucker. She's like, I'm fucked up too, so I guess we just tolerate each other. This is the stupidest fucking thing. So I hate it, and I'm angry at the ending, and I think it could have turned out differently, and Peta should have never been involved in the first place, and I think it would have been a lot different if it was modern. So, yeah, and I had a whole rant before this, so I just keep getting heated whenever I think about it, because I forever hate Peta. There's nothing we can do. I just don't actively think about it and obsess over it. I just want to be reminded of it, then I go on a rant, you know? Whatever, bye.